All right, good evening. This is the Brighton Conservation Board meeting of December 8th, 2020. I'm Dennis Adams. I'm the chair of the board. Tonight, Karen Berger, the vice chair of the board, is also here, as well as board members Susan Riblett, George Smith, Mitch Nellis, and there you are, David. Yeah, David Brighton. Good. All right. Welcome to all of you. And we'll start with public forum. Do we have anyone to speak this evening? I guess not. Okay. I'll call for an approval of the minutes from the November 10th, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? All right, so the minutes are approved. We'll come back to the tree renewals. The presentation on the table tonight is 12P NB 120, application of Wendy Frieda and Bruce Dan, owners for preliminary and subdivision approval, preliminary site plan approval, demolition review and approval, raise two single-family homes, combine two lots into one, construct a 3,500 square foot, two-story single-family home with a 688 square foot attached garage, 517 square foot detached garage at 571 and 575 Winton Road South. So, have all of you had a chance to look at this?
Dennis, I think we have somebody to speak on that
Good.
application.
All right.
John, are you there? Saw him here earlier. There he is.
Hello.
John, go ahead.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Good. Introduce yourself to the board and tell them what you're here for.
Sure. Good evening. My name is John Sharaba. I'm with Land Tech. I'm representing the applicant this evening. The quick overview of this project. This is a somewhat of a unique project. I don't know if you can see me. A unique project where they have two existing houses on Winton Road, a total of about 0.47 acres. Both lots are about 110 by 140 deep. The applicant proposes to demo the existing houses and build one new house, generally in the northern lot. Obviously, we have to go through planning board. We're also requesting several variances to do this. But the plan is to keep most of the perimeter landscaping in place. So most of the trees, both the street trees along Winton Road and the perimeter landscaping is to remain intact. On the southern lot, there'll be a detached garage that'll be utilized by the applicant. And so there'll be basically an increase in open space with this application, which is different. So we're taking two houses down and demoing those houses and putting a new house in, connecting to all existing utilities, existing drainage patterns will be maintained. And that's just a kind of a quick overview of what we're proposing.
Okay. Questions?
John, could you just explain what landscaping you are installing?
Well, if we went to the site plan, which is on page 105, we've, again, incorporated the existing landscaping. If you look at the southern lot where the proposed detached garage is, there's extensive arborvitaes along that western property line. Those are on our property with an existing fence. That's all to remain. And the only proposed landscaping that we show are some arborvitaes along with a wrought iron fence along the right of way of South Winton Road. That was done is on our end, but I know that the applicant will do an extensive landscaping beyond what's required by the planning board. So the plan that we show meets the planning board requirements, but there'll be an extensive landscaping plan beyond our minimal plan. We didn't want to handcuff our client and give them some creative license after they get the house up.
Good, thank you.
Questions?
And virtually there's no grading going on here, very limited grading. So stormwater will be handled through existing storm sewer systems, or are you going to direct it in any particular way?
We have a benefit of existing stormwater system within the right of way of South Winton Road with existing storm sewer laterals that service the site. So as these houses are raised, those laterals, both sanitary and storm, will be televised per town specs and reutilized in the future. So all roof leaders will be connected. We did provide some small inlets within the yard to direct stormwater to that, so we don't negatively impact the neighbors. But as Rick mentioned, the grading is minimal, and we'll just maintain existing drainage patterns.
This is David. I had a question about those two large maple trees that are in the front, just off Winton Road. I take it they're being saved.
Yeah, those are being saved, and we're protecting them with orange construction fence, shown on the demo plan on page 3 of 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
There's also, I think, roughly a 30-inch willow tree located at the northeast corner of the total property, and that is to remain. That's kind of right on the property line, so we don't want to negatively impact that. There's a bunch of birch trees, like a pocket of birch trees left on the south property line near Winton Road, and those are to be remained as well. The only really landscaping we show or tree removal is the stuff that's adjacent to both houses. You know, the ones that are within 10 or 15 feet of the house, of the existing houses. Those I don't believe will be able to be saved.
So this is Christine Corrado. I know we're looking at this from an ecosystem point of view, but I'm curious to know why the property owners have a need to remove two what seem to be viable homes. The greenest home is, or the greenest building is the building that's already built, and replace it with a single home. And I know every property owner has a reason. So I'm curious to know what makes these two separate houses unsatisfactory.
Right. Well, you know, I had that same question when I got involved with this project, and I actually have been in the southern home for a meeting, and they are existing, well-established homes. The applicant has family, but their kids live adjacent or nearby, and their needs are to be close to them and spend time with their grandchildren. And they wanted to create a home that would be a spot for the grandkids to come and be active. They want to have this is where the kids are going to play kickball and be in the basement and enjoy the backyard. Although they don't propose a pool, but they want this to be the hub of family events for holidays and things like that. The houses don't serve their needs. The proposed house, although rather large, I think it's around 3,500 square feet. It's not something that's going to overpower the neighborhood, but it's their needs. It's what they want and what their lifestyle. They moved to Brighton recently, again, just to be with family. They had a bigger, well-established home, I believe, out on the east side, more Penfield area where they had more land, but and they kind of got used to that. And in the downstairs master and things like that are what they really want. So I think that's really what's going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions here? Comments?
I mean, it seems like they're maintaining the vegetation level, and you know, from that standpoint, I don't have an issue with it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, actually, I have a follow-up question for John. With their construction plans, are they intending to incorporate any green construction techniques? Will they be looking at, geothermal heating, anything, solar panels, anything that will kind of offset the loss of existing buildings?
I'm not intimate detail with the architecture plan, but I do not believe they are proposing any solar panels or anything of a green practices related to the construction. Obviously, they'll have water saving features, things like that. We're proposing, there is a decrease in impervious with our plan, which is a benefit, although it's only 5%. We do propose a portion of the driveway to be geopavers so that we don't have any more asphalt that's needed. The proposed detached garage is to be used sporadically. It's not for daily use. So I guess to that point is really all we are offering, as far as a green solution. So, but that, that's all I really had to say about that. With the decrease of impervious is really what we can offer.
Thank you.
Well, I guess my turn to say something. I would like to see more green practices. I would like to see them incorporated within the construction. Energy savings, any water that can be kept on the property, which is not diverted into the existing systems, would be good. Anyone else care to add to that?
The thing I would add is, with new construction, it's nice when we upgrade homes to incorporate best technologies, insulations, windows, stuff like that, that would be energy efficient. That would be my the benefit whenever you upgrade to a newer home.
I think so. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see that in the final plans. Mr. Fahey is taking great strides to do that. Obviously it's going to be 2x6 construction on the exterior and modern insulation, modern windows. So I think and Rick, you can probably correct me on that. I think these homes are around 1920. So leaded glass windows, they're not really efficient, although it's pretty. It's not working really well. So I think the future home will be more in line with the green practices that you described. But on the outside, I really can't offer anything. There's no real avenue for rain gardens or anything like that that would work in this situation.
Anything more? No?
Seems like this would be a prime spot for geothermal.
I can review that with my client.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, there is a house that put in geothermal on Whitten, closer to 12 Corners. And just recently, within the past month or so, there's a house here on Ashbourne close to Whitten that put in geothermal. So it's doable in the area.
Yeah, I will break that up to them. I know that this is actually their seasonal home. So they're here in the summer and they spend most of the winter in the south. So I think this house will probably be cranked right down to minimal requirements to keep it functioning. But I know it's a tough thing to say when you see a house of this extent that's only going to be utilized 6 months of the year. But I will definitely bring up both the green practices of modern construction techniques and geothermal to the client.
Yes,
Oh, that's great. The geothermal for cooling in this area is actually the bigger savings. So
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
encourage that. Yeah.
and that can also be a cooling item as well.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's a bigger savings for cooling than for heating, actually.
Yes, correct.
Sure. I'll definitely bring that up.
Thank you.
All right, do we want to see this project again? I assume we do.
Well, they are under a preliminary at this point in time, so we'll be going back under final, at which time we will have a second look at it.
All right, good.
Dennis, I would just ask maybe if there's anybody out in the audience who would like to talk in regards to this application. I see some people on the line. I'm not sure if they want to speak to this application or not, so if they could raise their hand if they were looking to speak on this application. Nope, don't see anybody.
Okay. Do you have all the comments necessary now?
Yes,
Rick?
I got green infrastructure, investigate the use of green infrastructure techniques, also investigate the use of alternative energy, i.e. thermal, solar, etc.
Yes. All right. So that's about it.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the board, and we are going to be presenting to the planning board on the 16th. And we're also making application to the zoning board for later, or probably the first part of next year. And we'll continue working with the town staff to gain approvals and move through the planning process. So thanks again for your time.
And
John.
thank you for being with us. It's very helpful and it helps move the process along quickly.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Chairman.
You bet. Good night.
Thank you.
Yep. Good night.
Right.
All right. EMC report?
Dennis, I'm not sure if everybody saw the revised agenda that I sent over. I did add an old business item to
I did
the
not.
application.
I did not see that.
It
Rick.
came over late. I apologize for that, but it did come over probably 4:30-ish or something. I just added on there, we saw this back in August. It was for 2171 West Henrietta Road, the new diner going in.
Yes.
And we had some comments in regards to their site plan modification. And we had 3 comments going to them, and I would just, and they have responded to those comments. Our first comment was the use of native plantings is encouraged. Consider substituting the Norway spruce with white spruce. Their response was white spruce are prone to blight, therefore the use of Norway spruce is a more viable option. So I don't know if we want to comment on that. We had a question regarding their front yard pavement coverage. The front yard pavement coverage is at 54%. However, that's actually a reduction in what was currently there. So they're maintaining their pre-existing non-conformance in regard to the front yard pavement. And then our third comment, and Brett, I don't know if you have that up, just so they can see that site plan. I know I sent that over to you late too. Yeah. So if you remember this, Sonny's Diner on Western Road, they were adding that parking lot to the north, redoing the parking lot up front by West Henrietta Road. And our last comment was verify with New York State Department of Transportation on plantings within the right-of-way. And their response was New York State DOT has reviewed the proposed plans and have no comment on the perennial plantings within the right-of-way.
All right. Good.
So I don't know if we have any comments regarding our comments or their response to our comments. And if you feel comfortable with what they responded, then I'll forward that on to the planning board. You're good, guys? You're all right
I
with the
just have
Norway
a-
spruce?
Yeah, I have a
ahead.
quick question. You said that they're reducing their parking area, but they're adding, like, how are they adding in that large?
They're reducing the front yard parking area along West Henrietta Road.
Oh, okay. So they're
Okay.
increasing their impermeable cover, but
They are,
less of it
yes.
in the front. Okay.
Yes, yes. And the front yard coverage would be a variance if it's more than 35%, but because they're reducing it from a pre-existing non-conforming use, they don't need to get a new variance for that.
And everything behind what we're seeing is grass?
Yes,
Is-
yes, the
okay.
large field, yes. It's like a 4-acre lot.
Oh, okay.
So there's quite a bit of open space behind going down the residential streets.
Mhm.
And you can see there where they're planning to put some stormwater control and that right in the along the two sides of the new parking lot.
Comments, questions? Nope.
Great, thanks.
You bet. Thank you, Rick. Now we'll try for the EMC report.
EMC report was our meeting was a presentation by Cornell Cooperative Extension. They came and presented different services that they offer. If anyone's interested, I can forward the PowerPoint over to you. A lot of gardening help, education. They provide a lot of education if we're ever interested in that. It seems, pollinator-friendly gardening, stuff like that. Ways to educate the community on, and for free, as a service of the Cornell.
All right. Comments on that? All right. Green report? Nope. Okay. Staff reports?
No report.
All right. New business, old business? Nope. Okay. Let's talk about the trees. Are we satisfied to accept the arborist's recommendation on these trees?
These
And
trees
if-
all looked pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty
Yes.
eaten up.
Mm-hmm. Any dissent on any of these trees being removed? Yeah. Yes.
I am curious. Do we ever get data on the age of any of these trees? It seems like we're seeing a lot of similar trees, silver maples, Norway maples. Were they all planted at the same time? I mean, we're getting a lot of
Pretty
these
much.
every week.
Pretty much, yeah. Throughout these neighborhoods, they're all kind of being developed at the same time. And these trees have got to be, at the end of their life cycle, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've seen a lot. Unfortunately, you're seeing a lot, all going at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's.
Were they
it's-
planted like in the 50s-ish, around there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure exactly the years, Mitch. But looking at the trees, yeah, you're probably looking at 70-year-old trees.
Mhm. Yes. It's approximately their lifespan, so yes.
So are we good with all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them to be removed and replaced as noted?
Yes. So
I have a question. What would they most likely be replaced with? I think we want
Well-
something other than,
Well, we have a list that we developed,
Mhm.
which the highway department goes off of. Basically native plantings, which are salt tolerant and good and hardy
Mhm.
street tree. And what's available. you know,
Right.
what the nurseries have in stock.
Mhm.
Can't get everything all the time. So sometimes the neighbor or the property owner who fronts that tree can comment on what they would like to see planted there. But we're working off the list that we basically developed a couple of years, 2 years ago now, 2 years ago.
Okay.
The 100 Parkwood one, I didn't know if that one was, it seems to be in the mix of a bunch of other stuff. Did we still want to replace it or leave it for the other ones to sort of fill in the gap? I didn't go to see it specifically, but it might be worth looking at. It's a 24-inch ash, and it looks like it's crowded in with a bunch of other stuff.
Dennis
don't know.
and David had that one, do you remember?
Oh,
Did it
yeah.
look too crowded? I mean, I could drive by as well. It just
Yeah, I
looked
looked at it. I was a little confused as to which tree it was because there's quite a few there. So I kind of had to depend on the arborist report.
Yes. Well, it is the ash, and
Mhm.
That's my only concern out of any of them. The other one that was too crowded, they just said remove the one on Fernborough. This one, I just
Mhm.
hate for them to plant another, spend money planting another tree and then just have it be crowded out like this one.
Yeah, they say no to replace on the Burnborough one.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, it looks like there's a bunch of other trunks in the picture. And then if you look at the canopy, it looks like there's a bunch already above it. It might not be worth replacing that one and just spend that money elsewhere.
uh, well, I think some of those neighboring trees are near the end of their life cycle. So I personally felt that it would be worth giving this tree a shot by putting in a good native species. And I think that hopefully it wouldn't be damaged with an unfortunate incident with one of the larger and older trees. So I guess maybe I'm being a little cautious, but I would advocate that. Yeah, there we are.
So we're good to go with the suggestion of replacement in that tree.
What do you think, Mitch?
Yeah. So is
It looks like I don't know. It looks,
so it's the tree right on the edge of the property. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe, is it possible to replace with, put an addendum on there, maybe move it out just a little bit if willing by the residents, on the edge there. I don't know how close they try to get to the actual, replacement, but just say space out a little bit or something. That would be my only comment, but otherwise I'm fine.
Okay. I can go along with that, Mitch. Thank you. Anything more on these trees? No, I guess I'll hear a motion to adjourn our meeting then. All in favor? All right. Thank you all and good night.
Our next
Happy
meeting
holidays,
will be-
everybody.
Our next meeting will be January 12th.
you in
Everybody have a good
2021.
holiday.
Be well.
Right.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy
and
holidays,
New
everyone.
Year.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good night.
Thanks, Brett.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too now.
Bye.